this is a potential sell signal and short trade idea on Bowlero Corporation, a company of the consumer cyclical sector here off the daily interval. And currently we find ourselves at a pivotal juncture, a critical inflection point, drawing our focus to this primary reactionary low trend line originating from the February 2022 lows, tasked with assessing the robustness of the support here. In fact, I would go so far as to describe it as an unwavering level of support, rated at a formidable 10 out of 10 on the strength scale. And this is truly evident from the 8 distinct reactionary lows right amongst this multi-year, call it a 2-year support, where we've completely taken out that 50-day moving average, completely underscoring its resilience. Moreover, more attention now being drawn to key testing this ground of the 1434 price support, which serves as now a crucial base for our analysis. And we have previously identified Fibonacci levels at the 618 50% targets, further emphasizing precision of our assessment at this pivotal moment in time. And that is a break. We did have that whipsaw reaction. Looks like we actually recovered right up on Friday, completely recovered the 1434 price support. And we're gearing for that next move, where there would be an undercut of that 1434 price support on Monday, if not a back test amongst that primary uptrend line, which would actually offer an objective short trade entry. Really gearing down to 1434 for your first target for a 3% drop, down to 1314, call it 618 fibs retracement for 11% crash, down to 1201 for a 19% crash, coinciding with the 50% fibs retracement, down to 382 fibs retracement for a 27% crash. And ultimately, if things were to get really heavy down there, 236 fibs retracement for a 37% crash there. So key inflection points, key dollar cost average zones, especially if you're a long-term investor in Bowlero Corp, gearing up for some little bit of a lower dollar cost average zone. And we'll see what happens. As far as anything goes, we've taken away some of the lines here, and this is what I see is a potential head and shoulder, classic head and shoulder looking top. We've completely looked like we were going to break out, completely gapped up, had a false breakout amongst that 50-day moving average, had an all-out backfill the gap, underscored it, completely undercut that 50-day moving average, and it has been heavy selling since, with some strong oversold conditions there on the R side. So call it an aggressive short trade idea from here on out, but again, just a monumental inflection point where we have a huge volume price indication around this range, huge volume price profile zone. So a lot are going to be trapped up in this trade, probably amongst that, especially amongst that breakout. You're talking about being underwater, especially from that top of the line there. They're already underwater, 14% there, darn nearing that 20% range. And I would only suspect a huge gap fill, especially when you have especially around this range here. You're talking once you snap that 1434, nice clean support there too. That's pretty big support. Once you take out that 1434 price support, you're going to have a nice gap of that volume profile zone there for that next move down to 1314 price support. But anything that could be more significant are the momentum indicators, retesting the zero line thresholds on the moving average and oscillators, where we already have the histogram starting to zone in and have that red line hill. So we are in a bearish front on the oscillator histogram. All we need is the oscillator MACD to start breaking down below their zero lines, and a really pivotal inflection point for momentum indicators and a all-out bearish trend down below. Oh, again, just a key inflection point, and I believe that 1434 price support will more than likely do it as far as snapping anything down there to make anything more decreased to the downside there. I want to take away some of these lines here, and we'll zoom out to the weekly interval. Not the most well-defined as far as the open and close in the candle segments. We have in transition. We do have a bearish 3 black row continuation pattern amongst the weekly, and there it is. It's solid as you can get as far as any gaps in between those candles. It definitely would have looked a lot cleaner if we got all 3 in this solid candle close range, but state what you will, that is a textbook 3 black row bearish continuation pattern. And as I like to say, the weekly and longer term intervals usually overpower the near term, and especially acting like weights on the underlying stock for a big move to the downside when you start to put in those bearish continuation patterns. So we'll see what happens on Monday, and we're just at a key juncture with a looming crossover on the moving average convergence here on the weekly interval as well, with an oscillator histogram starting to zone in on that negative feedback off that zero line threshold there. So we'll see what happens. Great looking setup. Nice clean divergent high right off that weekly as well. Big divergent high, really amongst all 3 indicators with all bearish divergences. Just a great setup. One of the best bearish setups I've seen in quite some time as far as short trade setups go. It's been quite some time since I've seen a really nice clean setup of this magnitude. It's this decent, close to a sell signal as you can possibly get on the daily. and we'll just see what Monday provides for us.